welcome back to Rolling Solo. My name is Adam Smith, and we're going to continue our playthrough of Aeons and War Eternal. Now, in the last video, there was a big old goof on my part, which was, I'm really happy was pointed out, to be completely honest, so we could catch it really early on and fix it. So a big thanks to Dalgaus, if I'm even slightly pronouncing that username correctly. It's spelled D-A-W-G-H-O-S-S. I really appreciate you pointing this out because this was actually a massive change to the game state and I want to correct it. So the card in question came around on the second Nemesis pull, and it's this one here called Quell. And I went ahead and I resolved this whole thing, but never realized while playing it that there was a 3 in the bottom right corner, and you cannot have this level 3 card show up this early in the game. They're supposed to be built on the bottom of the Nemesis deck. So because of this, we're going to have to, and I mentioned this in the pinned comment of the last video, I'm going to be taking back all of the damage Gravehold suffered, which we did an Unleash 3 times, which as you can see from this Unleash treatment here from the Umbra Titan, we ended up deciding, because there was 2 Nemesis cards in the discard at the time, to get rid of 6 damage off of Gravehold. We're taking that back, so we're going to be putting Gravehold back to 30 health. But we can't get away scot-free because we still technically need to pull a card, and it would be resolved as it would have happened back then. So we're kind of messing with the gameplay here a little bit, but we have to make amends for the mistake I made. Otherwise, the gameplay will be totally skewed. This one, however, will not be discarded. I will, after the video, go take the bottom section of the deck that has all 3 tier cards. I'm going to pull them out, I'm going to shuffle them, and slot them back in again, okay? So for now, I'm going to put this aside, but just so you guys know, this will be shuffled into the bottom. It will be coming back, as it should be. Okay, so now what we have to do to get things correct is we have to pull a card off the top of the deck, and I also went through this whole entire deck to double check that there wasn't any other incorrections in terms of tier or numbers out of place, and then shuffled everything back in. So here we go. First one off the top. Decimate. It's an attack card, so hey, it's similar to the one we just had, so that's good. It's actually really similar to the one we just had, and this one is a tier 1, so this one can work. This one says unleash twice and any player gains 2 charges. What? That's awesome. Well, kind of. Or Gravehold suffers 4 damage. So the thing is, the other day is if I do an unleash at that current time, unleash because I would have had 2 Nemesis cards in the discard pile at that particular time, that would have been 4 damage. So why not just, which is the same as the bottom here, why not just do the top one, unleash twice, and gain 2 charges? That's awesome. So actually, I'm going to do that. So this attack is going to happen. We'll resolve this now. We're going to have Gravehold take 4. So Gravehold in the end ends up taking damage regardless. So I guess at the end of the day, this actually was a pretty good pull because it's it's as close as you're going to get to what happened, but at least it's fair now. At least it's actually for the tier that we're currently in. So this will knock us down to 26. There's the 2 unleashes happening. Now, just if you don't understand, you can take a quick pause right here on the unleash and see how that panned out. I had 2 Nemesis turn order cards, and that's the reason why. 4 damage is being applied, but the cool thing is with that one, or that particular card, is I can now charge somebody twice. So here's where it's interesting. Who should I focus it on? So we have Mez over here, and he's got the Under Earth Mantra. You can, it says you may gain a gem that costs 4 or less from any supply pile, and Gravehold gains life. That's really good. This one over here says gain a card from any supply. That's super powerful. If you have 4 open breaches, any ally gains a card from any supply and plays on the top of the deck. That's also really powerful. I'm gonna go with Yan because I've already done a charge here, so I want to continue pushing this one. So that's going to get Yan up to, wow, 2 more to go. 2 more to go on Yan, and good things are going to happen. Now, my real big goal is to get these breaches open, because if I can get them open, then I gain an addition, my ally will gain a benefit, which would be huge. So anyway, at this point in the video now, we have corrected the mistake from the last video, so we're going to move on starting now. And now we officially begin round number 2. So we always start off with a turn order deck flip, so we're going to do that right now. Flip that card over, see who's going first. Player number 1. Well, at least it wasn't the Nemesis, so that's good. Player number 1 is Maza. So Maza, what are you doing this turn? Well, we've got a number of cards over here, so let's take a look. Currently, again, very first thing you do is your casting phase. I don't have anything in there, so I'm going to skip past that. Let's pull down some of the cards into this area so we can see what we've got for options. We've got 3 crystals to use. We also have his special card here. This one is, again, it's a gain 1 ether or gain 2 ether that can be used to gain a card. So we might want to consider going after a card just to make this even more worthwhile. That would give us a total of 5 right here, which is pretty solid. We also want to think about potentially opening a breach as soon as possible. That also wouldn't be a bad thing. We could open a breach for 3. So if I did that, that would be all of my crystals. Then I could try to acquire a card for 2 using this one. And then I could put my spark in my open breach. May not be a bad idea. May not be a bad idea. Yeah, let's do that. Let's do that. So I'm going to spend 3 crystals, and I am going to completely open this second breach. So you can see here the cost is 3. So this breach is now totally opened up, ready to go. That's awesome. So we got 2 breaches actually open on both characters, which is going to help us. Now we need to start getting cards to really gain us more ether. We need lots more ether. That's really what's going to help us. So it's going to be cards like these we're going to be really targeting in the next couple rounds here. But for now, I'm just trying to get my breaches open so I can start really stacking some stuff out of my hand. This one here allows me, again, like I said, I can gain 2 ether. That can only be used to gain a card, or I could just gain 1. I'm happy to gain 2 to try to gain a card, so let's do it. I can only have 2 to spend, so it really limits my options. Really, the only thing I can actually buy is this Mage's Totem. So I will take this one, gain it, and drop it on top of the discard pile. So that's not bad. And then we've got this one here, the Spark. Of course, there's no reason not to put it into an open breach. We'll put it in breach number 1. Let me just double check here to see. Yeah, that's perfectly fine with me. And that's essentially it. Now we're going to go ahead and we're going to get rid of all of our cards from our hand here. So I'm going to put them back in any order I choose, except I just dropped it on the floor, which makes it much tougher. Okay, so we got this card back, and we're going to be putting this one right here, and then the rest of the crystals will go on top of it. Okay, so that is his turn. However, we're not completely done yet, because we need to draw back up. So do we have enough to draw? We have 1 spark. That's good for next turn. Sparks are, I mean, they're only 1. There we go. We got a decent ether gaining type card there. Regular crystal. Another regular crystal, and probably another regular crystal. Yeah, but that's decent. Something. It's something. I don't know. We got to start building up our hand a little stronger, though. Okay, so that's essentially the end of player 1's turn, and now we're going to go back to the turn order deck. We're going to hope, cross our fingers. Oh, look at that. How lucky do you get there? Now, the only downside is I really, really wanted Yan to go, because now the chances that Yan is going to be able to go and use Jagged Lightning, which is what I was hoping I could get into a open breach here in order to hit this cryptid before it starts attacking me or doing anything nasty. We now have technically 2 player 2 cards in here and 2 Nemesis cards in here. So the odds of the Nemesis coming up next is very high, 50-50 basically. So anyway, we're back to Maza again. So Maza does have a spark. I could use it. There's probably no harm. I don't know. It's debatable. I probably should use it. It just might be a waste. Or I could just hold on to it. You know what? I'm going to use the strategy of just putting sparks in my breaches to try to keep ether in my hand to start building my hand out instead of just doing little hits on this guy. So I'm going to hold off. I'm not going to actually cast this, and we're just going to start using my hand right off the bat. So we're going to go to the hand here. I've got a spark. I'm going to put this in my breach. So that's great. I now have all of this in terms of spending for ether. Let's see what the special ability of the Frozen Magmite is again. So gain 2 ether. You may place the next card you gain this turn on the top of your deck. That's pretty awesome. Replace the next card you gain this turn on the top of your deck. Wow, okay, so I guess it goes right here. That's amazing. So that's a really powerful card. So let's take, what is that total? So that's 3 crystal plus 2. That's 5. You may place the next card you gain this turn on the top of your That's awesome. That's such a good thing to have. Okay, anyway, so 5. How about we head down here? What is Aurora? So while prepped, once per turn during your main phase, you may gain 1 charge. Deal 3 damage. Oh, that's awesome. I really like that. I really, really like that. So we're going to get that one. And of course, because I gained the card using the Frostmite Magma, it's going to go on the top of my deck. And that's the thing, it says top of my deck. So it goes like this, if I'm not mistaken. And then all of these are spent. So now I'm going to put them back in the order that I choose. I'm going to make sure that this Frozen Magmite is right here on the top. And then the rest can go underneath. That's essentially all I can do for him right now. Again, I could have shot off a spark at the cryptid, but I decided not to. I want to start hoarding my spells into my breaches so I can start getting more ether and buy more expensive cards to deck build right now. So at this moment, I need to build up my deck or my hand again. So I'm going to flip this thing over. Actually, technically, first, before I do this, I would be drawing everything I have from here. So technically, this goes right into my hand for next round because I won't be seeing another turn with Maza. This one is going to flip over like so. And then I'm going to be drawing up 4 cards. We got another spark. That's crazy. That's so many sparks. There's the Mage's Totem. Now that thing, if I destroy that card, gives Gravehold a life point back. So there's that. There's now I'm talking some interesting combinations when it comes back to Maza's turn and maybe in the 3rd round. So that essentially is it. Now we're going to come over here and see who's going next in the turn order deck. Yeah, not surprised that the Nemesis is going to go. So first off, everything in the active area here, we're going to basically activate Persistent. The player with the most expensive prep spell discards that spell, or the Umbra Titan loses 1 Nemesis token. Well, we have spells all the way around, and I really get a choice as to which one I want to discard it from. So I'm going to actually discard it from Maza, I think, in this particular case, so that I don't know, I'm just balancing things out, really. None of the spells are more expensive than the other. They're all worth 0, and so that's easy. Now, it does say discard, so we'll be going into this pile over here. So that's that. That's pretty easy to deal with. I'm really not too worried about that one. But the downside now is I'm going to have to go ahead and pull a Nemesis card. This is where things could get nasty. It's an attack. It's called Encroach. It is going to be an Unleash. That's unfortunate. Reveal the top card of the turn order deck. If a player turn order card was revealed, that player suffers 2 damage. Otherwise, Gravehold suffers 3 damage. Oh, that's a double smack. That one is a 1-tier card, but it's still nasty. So anyway, we got to do the Unleash. Again, going back to the Unleash, it's either losing 1 Nemesis token, or if there's 1 Nemesis card in the discard player, any player can suffer 2 damage. So I could take a hit on my player instead of letting Gravehold take the damage. That's the debate. Do I do that? I think I'm going to take the damage. I think I'm going to take the damage on Maza. So I'm going to have Maza drop down to 8. All right, so that covers the elite, or the Unleash portion of this top portion of the Encroach card. Now we have to do the bottom, which is reveal the top card of the turn order deck. If a player turn order card is revealed, blah, blah, blah. We just read that. So let's reveal it, and it's a 2. So that player now takes, how much damage? 2 damage. So that actually ends up being Yan. So that was actually a fairly even hit, and guess what? We avoided getting Gravehold hit at all. So the only downside to that is our characters are hurt, but we have satisfied this entire attack card. We can now get rid of it, thank goodness, and move on. So we do know that the player turn revealed here is 2, so that's obviously going to be Yan. So we can go ahead with Yan now. Yan has a whole bunch of Jagged Lightning and some crystals. So we're probably going to be taking that Jagged Lightning and immediately putting it in the open breach. It does say on a cast 3 damage, you may discard a card in... separately. You may discard a card in hand. If you do, any player focuses their closed breach with the lowest focus cost. Oh yes, that's right, this one. I forgot about this. This is a really cool spell. So I can discard a card in hand, and if you do, any player focuses their closed breach with the lowest focus cost. So the lowest focus cost in this case would be this one. So I could basically have this one twist if I discard a card. Ugh, so tempting. I think I might do it, actually. So I'm going to do that. I prep that spell. Just says, you may discard a card in hand. If you do, any player focus. Yep, so I'm going to do it. I'm going to discard 1 crystal from my hand, which is going to allow me to focus this breach. So this one is going to turn this way. And the way it worked was it was taking the cheapest focus cost. This one was 4, this one's 3. That's good. And then I have 3 more crystals left on Yan. What can I do with that? I could be really smart here and start going after something like this in order to bump my ether later on. So I'll purchase this one. That means all 3 of these crystals have been spent and used. They go here, which then essentially they end up going here. So now we've got all that spent and done. I could have increased my focus. I could have increased my charges here, but I'm not to the point of having all my breaches open just yet. Another thing I could have done was, well, actually that's the thing. These ones are really aggressive. It might be worth my while to get some Jagged Lightning on Maza at some point to help get these breaches open because they're super high cost. To open them right now, I'd be focusing for quite some time to get them cracked. Okay, so that's essentially that for Yan. So without further ado, let's grab some more cards for you. Oh, sorry. I guess I had my Spark and I forgot whether... I guess I never decided whether I wanted to actually use the Spark against the Cryptid. So that's kind of something I have to decide. Do I want to send the Spark out to hit the Cryptid? Is it worth it? I don't think so. I really don't. It's not doing any... It wouldn't even... Even if I had to use this one over here when I had the chance and this one, I still wouldn't have killed it. I'm just going to wait for the Jagged Lightning and then I'll do it. Although the downside is I won't be able to take advantage of that really cool power on the bottom. So that's always a kick in the pants too, but it's a tough call. Tough call. I'm gonna wait it out. I'm gonna let the Jagged Lightning do its work later. Let's draw cards. So there's Illuminate. You guys talked about this last time I played the first round and told me how awesome Illuminate really can be. So this time around I'm gonna be a little smarter with it. We're getting a couple crystals here in our hand. We're getting more crystals in our hand, and finally more crystals in our hand. So lots of crystals and Illuminate. Okay, that's it for Yan's turn. So now we're gonna pull this, and if it's, oh man, I'm hoping it's Yan. I really do. Yes, I got lucky. Okay, so Yan is going first, and that means I can, if I want to, which I think I will, I think I'll spend, I think I'll do the Jagged Lightning thing. So I'm gonna cast Jagged Lightning into the discard pile. That's going to do 3 hits of damage against this minion. This minion is no longer in play anymore. That's good news. I still have a Spark there. That's great. I now have an open breach, which I can put Illuminate inside of, which is fantastic. Again, this one says, while prepped, when you focus or open one of your breaches during your turn, you deal a damage. So that's awesome. I could even deal a damage against the actual Titan itself, which is even great as well, even though it's a small damage. So in this case, it is prepped, and it says when I focus or open a breach. So my focus cost is 3. I could focus. If I did, I'd deal a damage, or I could try to purchase something from this area over here. See, I have something like this, where I can start focusing breaches and gaining life. That's really good. I think I might go after this instead this time around. So I'm going to buy Primordial Flesh. This is going to end up right here. This is going to cost me all the crystals that I have, which is all 4 of them, which will land on top. Of course, I have nothing to draw for the end of my turn, so I'm going to flip this entire deck over like so. And I'm going to draw from here. I got a crystal. I got a Frozen Megmite, got another crystal, got another crystal, and another crystal. So this is going to be a big purchasing hand for the next round coming up. For sure, that's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's not bad at all. Okay, so there we go. And finally, now we pull the last turn order card, which is going to be the Nemesis. We know what it was. Good thing is they have nothing sitting out here to deal any damage or hurt us with any persistent abilities. So now we go to the Nemesis deck. What did we get? Oh, look at that. A minion's coming out regardless. So we got the Howling Spinners. Persistent. Any player suffers 2 damage. So again, doesn't do its attack when it first comes out, but we have to keep in mind that that is going to be their haunting our dreams. So that's sitting there just like that. And that's essentially it. That is the end. We're going to be reshuffling this deck again, and we'll be getting turn or round, I should say, number 3. So thank you so much, guys, for watching to this point. If you noticed anything that I missed so far along the playthrough, let me know. I'll do my best to correct it. And as always, keep on rolling solo.